The death toll continues to rise as a result of bad weather that has swept across the Midwest the past 8 days. The series of 3 storms have produced blizzard conditions, which has now been named responsible for 74 deaths. But snowfall became much lighter over much of the Midwest during the day today, and travel advisories remain in effect in many areas, and temperatures are way below normal in many of the states in the Northwest, some of them experiencing sub-freezing temperatures. Well, it might have felt as if it were sub-freezing in the Virgin Islands, but it wasn't. We had an easterly wind flow across the northeast Caribbean, and it carried sufficient moisture to produce scattered showers, more scattered showers than we had originally predicted. The cloudiness over the region was present most of the morning and caused lots of showers in the early morning over the Virgin Islands, and although Puerto Rico started out with a sunny morning, their afternoon was cloudy. And the cloudiness helped to keep the temperatures cool. Let's take a look at those temperatures around Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands and see what they were. For today's high on St. Thomas, we didn't break 90. As a matter of fact, the high was only 87 degrees, with a low of 73 at the airport, and parts of the country, they tell me it was much cooler. I know in Windberg it was like 68 degrees. St. John's high was 83 and low of 72 at East End. At Lampshire, the high was 84 with a low of 72. St. Croix's high was 87 at the airport with a low of 75, and San Juan's high was only 84 with a low of 75. The barometric pressure was 29.90 at St. Thomas, 29.99 at St. Croix, and 29.96 on St. John. Relative humidity, 76% for St. Thomas, 79% for St. Croix, and 66% for St. John. The precipitation at the airport, St. Thomas, 0.04 of an inch. At Estate Hope, it was 0.03 of an inch. On St. Croix, 0.06 of an inch. At Lampshire, they had 0.20, and at East End, 0.39. They had a lot more rain than we did. Sunrise tomorrow will be at 6:38. Sunset will be at 5:46. The winds are east-northeasterly, 10 to 15 knots. And the seas are only marginally safe as the waves are near 3 feet and the swells are 4 to 6 feet. We still have a 40% chance of showers for tonight as the easterly wind flow that brings us a moist air mass, which increases our chances for shower for tonight. But they tell me that that is moving westward and the weather should get better by late Wednesday. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed. As a matter of fact, Barbados was clear today. They had a high of 90 degrees and Guadalupe had a high of 86, and they were clear today. We were mostly cloudy off and on, and so was Puerto Rico. Hispaniola, partly cloudy, and just a few scattered showers. Jamaica was in the high 80s, and they had fair skies, clear skies over Cuba today. And partly cloudy because of a cold front that's moving into the northern Bahamas. They have a chance of more showers coming that way as that cold front moves on into the Bahamas area. On the mainland, well, they have a cold front coming down the Atlantic coast. Temperatures are down in the 60s. There are a few showers out in the Gulf of Mexico. Miami had a temperature of 80 today. They were warming up again. Atlanta was getting warmed up again too. Boston and New York City had temperatures in the 40s and 50s, but it was still rainy. There are some storm warnings out for parts of Michigan as the snow continues in that area, although it's much lighter than it was out in the west. Temperatures in the 20s and the teens in the northern United States. Although it's sunny in the Oregon and Washington coast, there is a lot of rainfall on the California coast. Temperatures were dropped down to the 50s in San Francisco, 20s throughout parts of the middle of America in Nevada and Utah, where they're still experiencing a lot of snow. The low for the day in the States was a -9 in Alamosa, Colorado. And we are going to have marginally safe seas. But we're going to have partly cloudy skies and more of a chance of showers tonight than it will be tomorrow. Tomorrow should be fair, but you will have some scattered showers, and we want to say a fond farewell to Gail Anderson, wife of Ranger Anderson, who is our weather watcher at Lampshire on St. John. We really thank you for all the temperatures you've given us day after day. And I'm Toya Andrew with weather from NewsCenter 10.
At First Pennsylvania Bank, we know we're only as good as our staff and our services. So we make First Pennsylvania Bank an easy to understand and offer services of proven value. We want to be the best bank you've ever had. Our after-hour windows, ample parking facilities, and special senior citizens advisors are some of our ideas for you. Remember, First Pennsylvania Bank has been serving you in the Virgin Islands since 1905.
Discover the timeless beauty of fine craftsmanship and elegant design for your home at the Cloth Horse in Bakery Square. Enhance your bed and bath area with accessories by Martex. Rich, plush comforters, complementing sheets and pillowcases. Thick, soft, absorbent towels enrich and brighten your bath. Everything perfectly adapted to create a feeling of casual elegance in your tropical setting. Only at the Cloth Horse, Bakery Square, St. Thomas.
TCR designed for action. Solid construction for endurance. Cars built with low center of gravity and super traction tires to keep scale speeds up to 300 miles per hour on the track. Dual action pistol controllers, 2 racing cars, and a 12-foot oval layout track. The race car set that keeps you in action day and night. TCR Slotless Racing. Now on sale at your Woolworth stores.
The Caribbean tourism picture is changing, and so are the ways that tourism is being promoted. At a meeting today between Virgin Islands senators, members of the territory's tourism industry, and wholesale tour operators, the territory was urged to modernize one way that it retails itself as a vacation destination.
Wholesale tour operators today explained to Virgin Islands senators what their operations do and how they fit into the Virgin Islands tourism promotion picture. And they came to propose that the Virgin Islands switch from direct bonus payments to cooperative advertising.
At this point, you'll get $4 million worth of lineage in newspapers or television or radio, whatever you decide to advertise it. Doing it with us, we can stretch the $4 million to come out to $8 million.
Tourism Director Leona Bryan explained after the meeting how that works. Pooling advertising efforts of the tour operators, destinations, hotels, airlines, and other tourism interests can double the impact of the advertising dollar. The tour operators said that airline deregulation has changed the way the tourism business operates.
And the way business is being done today is completely different from the way it was done a few years ago. It's done differently everywhere in the Caribbean except here.
Bryant explained that the Virgin Islands still owes the tour operators about $250,000 from last year's promotions, and as soon as that is paid, which should be shortly, the Virgin Islands will study the new cooperative approach to determine how heavily the territory will participate. Bryant said the islands are looking for new and innovative ways to market the Virgin Islands and its tourism interests, and she said she's definitely in favor of the program.
If the St. Thomas-St. John Roadside Litter Program doesn't receive funding by the end of this week, Chamber officials have said that it may go out of business. According to a Chamber release, without monies provided in the new territorial budget, which was vetoed by the governor, the program would come to an end. The territorial government is currently operating at last year's budget expenditure levels. Chamber officials said despite funding under the old budget and the vetoed new budget, no money for the project had been released since September. Last April's rains flooded out the Antilles School Library, but November's sunshine has brought a new dedication of the facility that was made possible by a generous benefactor. Matthew Locker of the NewsCenter 10 staff filed this report.
The newly expanded library at Antilles School has been dedicated to Ambassador Henry L. Kimmelman. Ambassador Kimmelman has donated $50,000 to restore the library, which was completely destroyed during the flood last April 18th. The president of the Board of Trustees, Edward Brandstalker, used an analogy of the movie The Day After to depict the day after the destruction of the library. Then Ambassador Kimmelman spoke.
I have hope, and I think we should all have hope, that this world will be around for many, many years, and all of you will grow up to enjoy it. And one of the ways perhaps that you can enjoy it is by reading books.
Other speakers for the event were Headmaster Mark Marin and National Honor Society President Rupert Dyer. The school looks forward to expanding the facilities even further, and Ambassador Kimmelman said that he and his family would always support the school. Matthew Locker, NewsCenter 10.
Helen, last year, University of Virginia had a good basketball team. Of course, they had Ralph Sampson.
Hey, they had a good basketball team for 4 years, but for the University of Virginia, this is going to be the